Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from OKBig8626 from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit, and it says, Am I the arsehole for telling the real reason I'm no longer a bridesmaid? I, 25 female, have been friends with Cami, 25 female, since kindergarten, when her family moved next door to mine, when we were both 6. We've been through everything together, and once considered the other as a sister. We have both even moved to the same state to be close to one another. About 2 years ago, Cami started dating Andrew, 36 male, who I did not like. He was a lot older than her, and just did not seem like the right guy for her. She once asked me what I thought of him at the beginning of their relationship, and I told her my opinion of him being too old, but she told me that everything was fine and that age was just a number. I honestly didn't see anything else bad about him, so I eventually learned to let that go, but always had that uneasy feeling about him. 8 months ago, Andrew proposed to Cami, and she immediately asked me to be a bridesmaid. I said yes and was happy for her. Her wedding was in late February of this year. In early November, Cami comes over to my apartment to tell me that she's been actively cheating on Andrew for the past 6 months with some guy from her work. She told me that Andrew found out and instead of getting angry with her, asked for her forgiveness and wanted to know as to how he could be a better partner to her because he was failing her. She said the reason she was telling me was to go ahead and get it off her chest before I found out from someone else and thought of her badly. When she told me, I could tell she had no remorse and didn't even regret her cheating. I was shocked and asked if she regretted what she did, and she said it hurt her to see Andrew so upset. But she explained that things were so hot at work that the tension was too much for her and her co-worker to ignore. I told her that I was no longer going to be a bridesmaid and wasn't going to attend her wedding because I don't associate myself with cheaters and no longer supported her marriage, especially since she did not think what she did was wrong. Cami got very mad at me and told me off and eventually blocked me on everything. I never explained to anyone about her cheating for my reason as to why I chose not to go. And I made sure to not talk bad about Cami to anyone who asked, because I did consider her to be a sister. We have not talked since that day, and I know she and Andrew got married. Fast forward to last week, and I'm out with my boyfriend at a coffee shop, and I run into one of Cami's bridesmaids that is also one of her co-workers. She walked up to me and asked how I was, and I said fine, and I told her it was good to see her. She didn't apologize for being too forward, but wanted to know if Cami and I ever made up after our incident before our wedding. Confused, I asked what the incident was, and she eventually told me that Cami explained to the bridal party that I chose to leave because of my feelings for Andrew, and that I couldn't see him getting married because of how I felt. I was appalled. Not only did I not have any romantic feelings for Andrew, I never even really liked him. I told the bridesmaid that the reason I left was because of Cami's affair with a co-worker, who she knows as well because they all work together. When I told her that, the bridesmaid said she remembered Cami and the co-worker being close, but didn't know about the affair. She left the coffee shop not long after the conversation, and I felt guilty about telling her that since I haven't told anyone. My boyfriend says me telling her that makes it look like if I'm trying to hurt Cami and Andrew, therefore making it seem as if I do like Andrew. Am I the arsehole for telling her that? I don't know if she told Cami I said that, and I don't know how Cami and Andrew are doing, but I do feel bad that I shared her business to someone she works with. Now, absolutely not the arsehole in this situation. I mean, she's out there telling the bridal party that you fell in love with her husband and that's what happened. It's absolute bullshit, so you're right to correct these lies. You know, Cami wants to make up those lies, it's going to bite her in the arse, it's as simple as that. But a commenter says, not the arsehole, you were simply correcting a lie. Cami didn't need to come up with a lie to explain away your departure from the bridal party. You have every right to defend yourself. I feel sorry for Andrew. Hopefully he will one day realize his worth and accept that his wife's infidelity is not his fault. Fred says, it seems likely that you would have kept this secret forever, until she did the one thing necessary to bring the story out in the public again. She had it coming. I could never fault you for doing this. You're a good person who handled things well. Look, for what it's worth, she headed for a divorce sooner or later anyway. Her life is hell. She'll get hers. She's getting it now. You're a fine person. Carry on. Swedish replies that and quotes saying she'll get hers, she's getting it now, and says, the way Cammy's co-worker asked you about the wedding makes me think that she was suspicious of Cammy's story from the beginning. The co-worker and maybe others have likely noticed that things were so hot at work that the tension was too much for her, Cammy, and a co-worker to ignore. And yet, she is still planning to marry Andrew. This makes me suspect that Cammy may be having an affair with someone who is already married and won't leave his wife. Cammy sounds like a user. Don't feel sorry for her. Think how she's already told lies about you, OP. Not the arsehole. Carrot of Insanity says, your boyfriend is wrong. You exposed the fake narrative Cammy pinned on you. You should have also included that you haven't liked Andrew since you met him, and Cammy knows that. She lied twice to make herself look flawless. You need to get the word to all the bridesmaids and let Cammy know that not only she is a cheater, but a liar. So, OP updates the post and says, I feel like whenever I post on here, something immediately happens resulting in an update. Cammy's other bridesmaid, who I saw at the coffee shop, reached out to me last night through Facebook. I call her Jenna. Guess whose mugshot was posted on our local news site? I won't exactly say what he did, but it involves his work computer, personal computer, and phone, so you can make your assumptions from that. Cammy reached out to Jenna a few nights ago, crying, saying that Andrew had been arrested while on shift because of what the IT guy found on his work computer. Jenna decided to tell me because Cammy mentioned to her how I always felt uneasy about Andrew and how she should have listened. Jenna asked Cammy, why would I? Because I was so in love with him. And that's when Cammy came clean and told her about the lie and about her affair with her co-worker. Cammy went on to explain that ever since her and Andrew married, Andrew became very physical with her because of her affair. He waited until there was a ring on her finger to really tell her how he felt about the cheating. I asked Jenna if Cammy said anything about still seeing the co-worker while they were married, and Jenna said Cammy is still seeing him, but swears it's just friendship now. That's why Andrew was so upset with her. Jenna did admit to me that she told Cammy she saw me the other day, which made Cammy ask if she'd think I'd be willing to talk to her. Jenna told her that she didn't know, but could try to see what would happen. Cammy hasn't reached out to me yet, and I don't know if she will. I don't know what I will do if she does, but that's the update about her for now. I've noticed there are a few people in my last post talking about my boyfriend's response. To let you know, I did ask him about it, and he said he was more worried about how it made me look in that moment. I'll accept that answer for now, but if he acts up, I will definitely think about things. So far, he's been great. But that's it, hopefully. I'll probably update if Cammy ever reaches out, but I'm kind of hoping she doesn't. The top commenter say you had every right to clear your name on a lie that was told about you. Nobody will ever be the arsehole for that. Cammy doesn't sound like a good person, so I'd hold her at a very far arm's length if she does try to reach out. Commenter says stop wondering if she'll reach out to you and just block her already. Unless you enjoy eating popcorn as you watch her drama unfold. There's really nothing there for you, is there? Can you ever actually truly respect her like you did before you found out? So, 11 days after that post, OP updates again and says Cammy reached out to me. I started to think she wasn't going to, but she texted me last night asking if we could talk. I responded, is this about your husband being in jail? And she immediately called me. She was crying. She kept saying she had no idea Andrew was like that and wished she paid more attention to how I felt about him. I told her that I had no idea he was doing that, and I'm sorry for how he was. She said something about being a hot divorcee, and a few other things about this finally freeing her, as if she wasn't actively cheating on Andrew throughout most of their relationship. She then asked how I was doing. She didn't even apologize for spreading that lie about me liking her husband. I asked if we're going to talk about what she said to the bridal party about my absence. She paused, laughed, then asked me if I was really upset over something that wasn't as bad as what Andrew ended up doing. I just hung up. I probably wouldn't have if I didn't read your comments on my last update, saying not to give her the time of day. And you all were right. She does not care about me after all we've been through together. I blocked her number, so I don't know if she tried to reach out again, but I'm done. But that's the update. And the top commenters on this one said, the trash took itself out. Keep it that way. Commenter says she's an awful person too, who continues to cheat on their partner, spread lies, and shows no remorse. She should be treated as toxic waste. Good for you for blocking her. Commenter says, wow, Cammy sounds like a real gem. Good on you for cutting that toxic friendship out of your life. And as for Andrew, sounds like karma caught up to him. But now, I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. Now our next story comes from Anon with a string of numbers, and it says, my 21 boyfriend, 22, is going out for dinner with a girl he met at a party. My boyfriend and I have been dating for 3.5 years. Back in August of 2018, my boyfriend and I went to my best friend's party. It was pretty small, 10 or so people. We both met this girl, a co-worker of my best friend, who didn't know anyone else there. At the party, my boyfriend and her were talking quite a bit. I was with them for a lot of the night and we got along well. But since I was close with a lot of people there, I obviously had conversations with other people there. Whereas my boyfriend and her were not close to most of the people there and therefore talked more. I was super happy that my boyfriend was being outgoing and talkative because he can be a bit asocial at parties, and didn't think anything of them talking a lot, other than, yay, he's having fun, lol. In December of 2018, the girl reaches out to my boyfriend on Instagram. She got both of our Instagrams back in August and asks him to meet up for lunch to catch up. And they go back and forth about saying how much they got along and how much they feel like they could be really good friends / how they don't want to miss out. He showed me the first few messages, and I found it weird how expressive they were about how much they liked each other, even though they were only talking for a few hours. Much of the time with other people, including myself. I haven't looked at his texts, but she does text him late at night sometimes, and he never replies to her when I'm there. I don't want to cross that line, but honestly, I feel tempted to. I talked to him about it a few times, saying I'm uncomfortable about them meeting up / that it's weird. Like several months after meeting for a few hours. My best friend thinks it's weird too. It's just weird and I'm uncomfortable. They are planning to meet up and it just makes my heart feel really heavy and sad. He told me yesterday that he told her I was uncomfortable with him and her getting along, which I felt was kind of a slap in the face because he's admitted that it's weird, but kind of put me in a bad light, and later said he said it in a joking way. Every time I bring it up, he talks about when I go out with friends in a group and a guy is there, even though I have always been 100% faithful and never been shady, and never wanted to meet up with someone I met at a party alone. He's had a past which has made it hard for me to trust him. He texted his ex, asking to hang out 2 days before he asked me to be his official girlfriend. We were seeing each other exclusively for 3 months before, and also was being extremely flirty, talking about sex, thongs, etc. A few months into our relationship over text with one of his friend's ex-girlfriends. This is a whole mess. I'm kind of all over the place. Just want to know if this is normal and if I should get over it. I mean, I think there's always the chance that this could be just a friendship, right? There's a percentage chance that could be the case. But in this situation, I think you need to trust your gut. And especially when you was talking about the texting that was going on, it kind of just felt like he's always been questionable about boundaries with other people. Texting the ex, but just before we got together and became official, the flirty messages with his friend's ex. I mean, he's going there as well. Sketchy, sketchy, sketchy. But Horizon Tip says, you're watching your boyfriend go on a date. Think about that. Have Loves Dog says, he told her you were uncomfortable because he wanted to gauge your reaction. If I was trying to befriend a dude and his girlfriend was uncomfortable, I'd say, oh no, we should invite her. What redeeming qualities does this dude have that you're willing to let him disrespect you like this? Anchovy Mac and Cheese says, is testing boundaries with both women, and so far it seems like he feels he can get away with it. Also super shady that he joked with her about your discomfort with his meeting up with her. He's supposed to be your partner. That in itself would feel like a betrayal to me. Forget red flags, this situation is a nuclear bomb. The Ice Cream People says, every married / taken man that has been trying to get with me has done that joke. Either wouldn't your boyfriend get jealous or my girlfriend thinks we should be alone together, suggestively. So OP does update that post and says, I first just want to say thank you to the many people who have reached out to me both publicly and privately about my post. I never expected to get so much support or to do an update post, but some have requested it, and I feel like you guys have been so awesome that I can't not do one. Last night, I broke up with him. I confronted him again about the situation, showed him the original post here and asked to see the text messages between them, and he showed me. As I was reading the text aloud, I felt sick to my stomach. The text read that he thought about her weeks after meeting. Almost all the texts were paragraphs where they were flirty and witty, containing winky faces. A lot of winky faces. They complimented each other a lot. Not about like physical attributes, but more about their personalities. He also said she would fit well in his friend group, and they had this weird conversation about being shady, and flirtatiously argued about whether it's a good thing or not. Still confused about that. And then finally, the all-time weirdest thing was that she brought up New Year's, which is my birthday, and he told her what we did. And that's when he brought up how I'm uncomfortable and stuff, and she replied along the lines of, "I understand, it's hard to know someone's intentions," and then said that I could come the next time they hang out. Lol. He denies having any bad intentions, which I sort of believe. But when you have text like that, I don't think intent is what really matters, because he's sending out signals to the girl that crossed the line in our relationship. The second part, which is equally important, is that the situation made me realize that we weren't like that anymore. I understand relationships get to be in that comfortable stage, which is completely fine and normal, but I don't think I have romantic feelings for him anymore. Additionally, you need trust in a relationship, and I was coming to the conclusion that I don't trust him, and maybe that is on me. This situation was kind of just like the tipping point in our relationship. We both made mistakes, and I need to work on things within myself. We grew up together and bonded and shared many great memories. He will always be an important part of my life, and there will always be love there. I don't want to de-emphasize that. I'm starting school again in less than a week, and I'm going to make an effort to improve myself and grow. Thank you for all your kind words, advice, and just the fact that many of you took the time out of your day to be compassionate to another human. You all have really helped me, and I hope everyone continues to be kind, because you never know how far it can touch someone. So maybe catch some of you in r/breakups? The top commenter on this one said, it was Zoom. He said he has no intentions. Within a month's time, they will be official. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from Fishy, who says, my 28 female boyfriend, 32 male, promised me a fish tank for my birthday. He got me sea monkeys. My boyfriend doesn't appreciate my hobby, fish. I work with fish at my job. I care for them and manage the ordering and maintenance and etc. My entire job revolves around fish. He doesn't get it. He calls them decorations, not real pets, etc. So I don't have a fish tank in the house, but I care for multiple clients' tanks outside of work as a side business. Before I moved in with him, I bred exotic fish and various invertebrate and sold them online. When we moved in together, I went down to one tank, an amphibian I wasn't willing to part with, who I lost 2 months before my birthday. It's a lot of work to maintain, as much as I used to have, and if I'm honest, I was okay with dropping that part of my hobby since I was already dealing with fish at my day job. The thing is, he promised for my birthday I could have a tank. I didn't expect anything huge, but maybe like a 20-gallon with fancy shrimp and tetras. I certainly wasn't expecting a huge setup. I have a small apartment. I'd already planned out ways to rearrange my furniture to house something. I sold some of my books online and my desk area is cramped because I plan to have a pretty fish tank right next to my computer. Gaming casually is my other hobby, so it seemed perfect. I could watch them while at my desk. For my birthday, he handed me a sea monkey kit. I was so proud he had found a compromise between what I wanted and what he wanted. I'm really hurt. I'm considering breaking up with him over this. I literally thought it was a joke. When he said I could have a tank, I sent him links to used tanks online, and there was recently a sale at our local fish store for $1 per gallon on tanks. He seemed receptive. I'd even have been happy with a tiny 10-gallon. He got me sea monkeys, literally what people usually feed their fish. It's a tiny tank, like 5 inches tall. It costs $7.99 at the shop near me. I feel like he completely missed the point. I don't know. He never gave me a size, but he specifically said he was getting me a tank. He got me sea monkeys, brine shrimp, literally set it up and ignore it. I grew up with sea monkeys. We ignored them for months and they did better than when I remembered to feed them. Radio Supply says to the OP, so you gave up your tanks, your passion and pets to move in with him. When your amphibian died, you now have nothing to care for at home. Now he gets you the equivalent of a pet rock. My first girlfriend in university was an abusive arsehole. Note, I'm not saying anyone here is, and I was a music student. After I moved in, she hated me storing and practicing my instruments at home, so I had to move it all on campus. She wouldn't let me display my CDs. Classical music was embarrassing for her, is what she said, or play stuff when she was home. When she got me a stuffed bunny, I named it Claudio after a favourite composer, and she argued with the name. I realised it was because she was controlling, and she didn't like how I was a musician because it was a place she couldn't go with me. Instead of accepting me and what I loved, she wanted to change that, and went to great lengths to put me down for it. I'm not saying it's the same with your boyfriend, but he does need to understand that in order for both of you to be the best and happiest person you can be, you need to share your space and have your own things, and this means you need a tank for fish. If he can't accept it simply because his opinion is standing in the way, he can cram his opinion and reevaluate why he's with you. Another commenter says, I'll be pretty hurt over this as well. I'm not one to expect super extravagant gifts from people, but I also want what I enjoy to be considered. I really like succulents and would love them as gifts, but if my boyfriend got me a fake succulent, I might kill him. I think you should bring it up to him that it hurts you. See what he says. It might go better than you expect. Opie says, if he said no, we didn't have room, I'd have respected that. I feel like he led me on. So at some point later, OP does come in with her update and says, so I got next to no replies, but I'm still seething, so I'm going to go ahead and vent here. I legitimately thought it was a joke, a bad one, but I seriously thought he couldn't be that fucking dense. Well, I talked to him. He didn't want to get me a tank because it would cost more money than the sea monkeys, and he'd spent all his cash on weed. He didn't want to charge something full price from the store to his card, and didn't have cash for a used tank from Craigslist. He thought I'd buy that. It was a compromise apparently. I'm already moved back in with my mother. I literally linked him nice used tanks for $50. He didn't even have a spare $50 to get me something nice because he fucking bought weed instead. I bought myself a 46-gallon bow front that I'm going to fill with all sorts of cool fish, and he can go suck a dick. I'm done. Edit, to top it off, his boss just texted me to apologize if their relationship is what broke us up. And she's so sorry, but it just happened, and they love each other, and she's sorry I got hurt while they figured that out. I just emailed HR. I don't need this drama. Thank fucking God I had already left and brought all my stuff with me. The top commenter and what was going through my head at the same time was basically, he was cheating on you with his boss at the same time. Opie responded saying didn't bother asking, blocked her number 2. Maybe it was just emotional. Don't care. I'm out. Gee bloody whiz. What do you guys make of this situation? That really just turned around at the end there, like really just almost snapped my head off as I sort of like span around and was going, what? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories. Your love, your support, your time, it always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so, so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.